The royal hunting party sprawls across a clearing in the Kingswood, pavilions bearing the crowned stag of House Baratheon, nobles drinking wine, servants preparing the day's kills. King Robert Baratheon sits outside his tent. He's 40 years old, but looks 50, fat where he was once muscled, drunk where he was once sharp, but still dangerous, still a king. Beside him, Eddard Stark, the hand of the king. Lean, weathered, worried. Robert drains a cup of wine, holds it out for more. A squire, Lancel Lannister, blond and nervous, hurries forward with a wineskin. "Your Grace, perhaps you've had enough for the morning hunt," Ned says quietly. "Enough, Ned, there's never enough. Not for what I've endured." Robert takes the refilled cup. 17 years married to that Lannister bitch. 17 years pretending I give a damn about her or her whelps. I deserve every drop. Robert, sometimes I think you'd make a better king than me. Robert laughs bitterly. But you wouldn't want it, would you? Too much lying, too much smiling at people you'd rather gut. He's been wrestling with something for days, something terrible, the words won't come. Robert stands, sways slightly. Come on, the boar won't kill itself, and I need to kill something today. Might as well be a beast instead of a counselor. Your Grace, I need to speak with you, privately, before the hunt. Can it wait? I've been looking forward to this. Actual action instead of sitting in that damned throne room listening to fools argue about grain taxes. It cannot wait. Robert sees something in Ned's face, something that cuts through the wine fog. Very well, inside, now. Robert's pavilion continuous. They enter the tent. Robert dismisses the servants. Lancel hesitates. You too, boy. Out. Well, what's so important that you're keeping me from the hunt? Ned reaches into his cloak, pulls out a book. Old, leather-bound, the pages worn. This is the lineages and histories of the great houses of the Seven Kingdoms, with descriptions of many high lords and noble ladies and their children, by Grand Maester Mallion. Fascinating. You interrupted my hunt for a history lesson? This book records every legitimate child born to the major houses going back 300 years. Ned opens it. Finds a page, every Baratheon from Orys, the founder of your house, to the present day. Robert sets down his cup. Go on. Black hair. Every legitimate Baratheon child. Black hair, black as a raven's wing, the book says. Some with blue eyes, some with gray, but always black hair. Ned flips through pages. Your father, black hair. Your uncle's black hair. You, your brother's black hair. So the Baratheons breed true. What of it? Joffrey has golden hair, Myrcella, Tommen, all three, golden hair, green eyes, Lannister features. Not a trace of Baratheon in any of them. Robert goes very still. What are you saying? I'm saying they're not your children. None of them. They're Jaime Lannisters. The words hang in the air like a sword waiting to fall. Robert's face cycles through emotions, confusion, disbelief, rage, terrible world-breaking rage. You're telling me, Cersei and Jaime. Yes, 17 years. 17 years I've been raising another man's bastards, telling myself they were mine, pretending to be a father to children who... Robert's voice breaks. They're not mine. No. How long have you known? I suspected after Jon Arryn died. He'd been investigating Robert's bastards. All of them have black hair, strong features. Baratheon blood shows clear. Then I found this book, the same book Jon was reading before he died. Ned pauses. I believe Cersei and Jaime had him killed, to protect their secret. Robert walks to the tent's edge, stares out at the camp. His hands are shaking. My children, my heirs, the future of House Baratheon, all of it lies. Abominations. He turns. Does anyone else know? That's why he left for Dragonstone. He was preparing to reveal it. Petyr Baelish suspects. Varys certainly knows. He knows everything. And I believe Grand Maester Pycelle knows. He's too close to the Lannisters not to know. And you're telling me now because you were about to go hunting? Drunk? With Lancel Lannister pouring your wine? Ned's voice is sharp. Robert, you need to be very careful. If Cersei knows that you know, if the Lannisters realize their secret is out, you're in danger. Your life is in danger. Robert barks a bitter laugh. You think they'd try to kill me? They're king. You're not safe. Not until you've secured your position and dealt with the threat. Robert paces, his mind working through the wine, through 17 years of lies. My sons, or what I thought were my sons, he's cruel, vicious. I told myself it was just youth, that he'd grow out of it. But he's not mine, he's Jaime's, and Cersei's, the product of he spits, incest, abomination. The faith will call them cursed. The faith will demand justice. The realm will demand justice. Stannis already demands it. That's why he's building his case on Dragonstone. He believes he's your rightful heir once the children are exposed as bastards. Robert's voice is cold. He'd be king after me. By law, by precedent, gods help us all, Stannis on the Iron Throne. He has the best claim. Under the law established at the Great Council of 101 AC, in the absence of legitimate sons, the throne passes to the king's brother, male line primogeniture. Stannis would cite that precedent. I know the law. I just never thought, I always assumed I'd have a son, a real son, someone who, Robert stops, looks at Ned, Lyanna, that I need to let her go. But Ned, she was the only woman I ever loved, the only one who mattered, and I lost her. I lost her, and I've spent 17 years pretending that marrying Cersei, bedding Cersei's whelps, was enough. It wasn't. It was never enough. I know, if I could have had a son with Lyanna, if she'd lived, if Robert's rebellion had ended differently, Robert trails off, then something shifts in his face. But I can have Lyanna's blood on the throne, can't I? Ned goes cold. What do you mean? Your son. Jon Snow. He's Lyanna's nephew. Her blood, the closest thing to Lyanna's child that exists in this world. Robert, Jon is my bastard. He has no claim to. You can legitimize bastards. The king can. I've done it before for lesser lords' sons. I can do it for Jon. I can make him Jon Baratheon, my acknowledged son, my heir. I'm the king. I conquered the Iron Throne. I can name my own heir, and I choose Jon, your son. Lyanna's nephew. The boy has Stark blood and Baratheon favor. The North will follow him. The Stormlands will follow him. It's perfect. It's insane. Stannis will never accept it. The maesters will call it unlawful. You'll be setting up a succession crisis worse than anything. I don't care, Robert roars. I don't care about Stannis' law or the maesters' precedents or any of it. I've been lied to for 17 years. I've raised bastards and called them princes. I put a crown on Joffrey's head and told the realm he's my heir when he's nothing but the product of incest and betrayal. He slams his fist on the table. The wine cup topples. I won't let Stannis take the throne. I won't. He's rigid and cold and joyless, and he'd make a terrible king. But more than that, I want Lyanna's blood to rule after me. I want some part of her to sit the Iron Throne. And if I can't have her son, I'll have her nephew. Ned stares at him. You're serious. Deadly serious. When we return to King's Landing, you'll summon Jon. I'll legitimize him. Grant him lands, Storm's End, perhaps. Name him Prince of Dragonstone, and make it clear to every lord in the realm that Jon Baratheon is my heir. This will tear the realm apart. The realm is already tearing apart. Better to tear it on my terms than on Cersei's lies. Robert's voice drops. Ned, you're my oldest friend, my brother. You've stood by me through rebellion and war and 17 years of this God's forsaken peace. I'm asking you now, help me. Help me put Lyanna's blood on the throne. Ned closes his eyes. Thinks of Jon, his boy, not a bastard but a prince, and the lies he's kept for 14 years, the truth about Jon's birth, about Lyanna, about Rhaegar. He can't tell Robert, not now, not ever. If Robert knew Jon was Rhaegar's son, but Robert will never know. Robert sees what he wants to see, a nephew of Lyanna's, Ned's bastard, a boy who can bridge north and south. If we do this, Ned says slowly, it must be done correctly. Publicly, with the faith's blessing, with the great lord swearing oaths, we need to make Jon's legitimacy unquestionable. Done. Whatever it takes, and we need to deal with the Lannisters, with Cersei, with Jaime, with the children. Robert's face hardens. Yes, we do. How? I don't know yet, but I know this. Cersei will die. Jaime will die. The children, he pauses. The children are innocents. They didn't ask to be born of incest. But they can't inherit, they can't wear crowns or hold power, they'll be removed, sent away, made into something other than princes and princesses. And if the Lannisters fight, then we fight back. I have the North, the Stormlands, the Riverlands through your Tully ties, the Vale through Jon Arryn, Tywin can call the West and maybe the Reach, but we're stronger. We're unified, and we have the truth on our side. Ned nods slowly. Then we need to move carefully. First, survive the hunt. No more wine. No more risks. Then return to King's Landing. Secure the Red Keep. Arrest Cersei and Jaime before they can flee or fight. And only then, only when we control the situation, do we reveal everything. Robert picks up his spear. Let's hunt, clear-headed, and when we return to the capital, we'll hunt something far more dangerous than boar. The Kingswood, later that day, the hunting party moves through the forest. Robert rides at the front with Ned beside him. Behind them, nobles and guards. Lancel trying to stay close with the wineskin. Robert waves him off. No more wine, boy. I'm hunting sober today. Lancel looks confused, then retreats. They ride for an hour. 2, following tracks. Hounds barking. Then the boar appears, massive, black. Tusks like daggers. There, Robert shouts. He spurs his horse forward, grabs his spear. The boar charges. Ned sees it happening in slow motion. The boar is too close. Robert is too committed. The spear angle is wrong. Robert, break left. Robert hears. Jerks the reins. The horse turns hard. The boar misses Robert's thigh by inches. Robert's spear plunges into its side. Not a killing blow, but deep enough to matter. The boar screams. Tries to turn. To fight, Ned rides in from the side. His own spear catches the beast in the neck, drives through. Blood spurts. The boar crashes down. Thrashing, dying. Robert dismounts, breathing hard. Staring at the dead animal, "You saved my life," he says. "You would have done the same. Or perhaps I would have died drunk and stupid, gored by a pig while the realm burned around my bastard heirs." Robert grips Ned's shoulder. "Thank you, old friend, for the warning, for all of it. Just stay sober until we reach King's Landing." "Oh, I will. I have too much to do, too many Lannisters to deal with." He looks at the boar, at the blood soaking into the forest floor. "Let's go home." King's Landing, Red Keep, 3 days later night. They return to the capital in the evening. Robert rides through the streets in silence. The small folk cheer, but he doesn't acknowledge them. Ned rides beside him, watching. At the Red Keep, Robert dismounts and heads straight for the throne room. He summons the small council, immediately. Pycelle, Varys, Littlefinger, Renly, and Barristan Selmy, Lord Commander of the Kingsguard. They gather in the council chamber, confused, worried. Robert stands at the head of the table, Ned beside him. "Lord Stark has brought to my attention a matter of grave concern, a matter that touches on the succession, on the future of the Seven Kingdoms." Varys's face is perfectly neutral. Pycelle suddenly looks very old. Littlefinger's eyes gleam with interest. Renly speaks first. "Your Grace, what is this about?" "It's about the truth that Jon Arryn died discovering, the truth that my hand has now confirmed." Robert looks at each of them. "Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen are not my children. They are the products of an incestuous affair between Queen Cersei and her brother Jaime. They are bastards, abominations, and they will not inherit the Iron Throne." Silence, total, crushing. Then Pycelle stands, his hands shaking. "Your Grace, these are grave accusations. If this is some plot, some northern scheme, it's not a scheme, it's the truth. Lord Stark has the evidence, the lineage records, the testimony of Lord Stannis, the pattern of my legitimate bastards versus the Queen's children. All of it points to one conclusion. I have been deceived. The realm has been deceived, and it ends now." Varys speaks softly. "Your Grace, what do you intend to do?" "I intend to arrest the Queen and Sir Jaime Lannister. I intend to have them tried for adultery, incest, and treason, and I intend to formally disinherit Joffrey and his siblings." "And then?" Littlefinger asks. His voice is smooth, calculating. "Who becomes your heir? Stannis?" "No, not Stannis." Robert looks at Ned. "I'm summoning Jon Snow, Lord Stark's son. I will legitimize him as Jon Baratheon. I will grant him lands and titles, and I will name him Prince of Dragonstone and heir to the Iron Throne." Renly's eyes widen. "You're making a bastard your heir? Brother, he has northern loyalty and southern strength. He will unite the realm in a way that no one else can. Stannis will never accept this," Renly says. "He'll call it unlawful. He'll kite the great council of 101. I know what Stannis will do, and I'll deal with him. But my decision is made. Robert looks at Barristan. Ser Barristan, you and the Kingsguard will arrest Queen Cersei and Sir Jaime tonight. Quietly. No violence unless they resist. Bring them to the Black Cells. Do you understand? Barristan's face is troubled. Your Grace, the Kingsguard are sworn to protect the royal family. If you're ordering us to arrest the Queen, they are not worthy of protection. Do your duty, Ser Barristan. Serve your king. Barristan bows stiffly. As you command. Good. Go. Now, before word spreads. Takes 3 Kingsguard with him. Ned watches the others. Varys is thinking. Littlefinger is smiling. Pycelle looks ill. Lord Varys, Robert says. Your little birds. Are any of them in Tywin Lannister's confidence? Some, Your Grace. Then make sure he learns of this. I want Tywin to know what his children have done, what his grandchildren really are. And I want him to know that if he raises his banners against me, I will destroy House Lannister utterly, as you say, Your Grace. And you, Lord Baelish, you control the gold cloaks through your friend Janos Slynt. I want the city watch on high alert. No one enters or leaves the Red Keep without my permission. Understood? Perfectly, Your Grace. Littlefinger's smile widens. Though I must say this is quite the bold move, legitimizing a bastard, naming him heir over your own brothers. The realm will talk of nothing else for months. Let them talk, as long as they obey. And if they don't, then they'll learn what happens to those who defy their king. Red Keep Makers hold fast. 1 hour later, Cersei Lannister sits in her chambers, brushing her golden hair. She's 40 years old, still beautiful, still dangerous. A knock at the door. Enter. Ser Barristan Selmy enters. Behind him, Ser Boros Blount and Ser Meryn Trant. Cersei frowns. Ser Barristan. It's late. What is this? Your Grace. Barristan's voice is formal, cold. By order of King Robert, you are under arrest. You are charged with adultery, incest, and treason. You will come with us to the Black Cells. Cersei stands. Her face drains of color, then fills with rage. How dare you? I am the queen, you cannot. Where are my children? What have you done with... Prince Joffrey, Princess Myrcella, and Prince Tommen are being secured in their chambers. They will not be harmed, but you must come with us. Now, at the drawn swords, at the cold determination in Barristan's eyes. Robert knows, she whispers. Yes. How? Lord Stark presented evidence. Irrefutable evidence. It's over, Your Grace. She thinks of Jaime, of her father, of the children, of everything she's built. And then she screams, Guards! Help! The Kingsguard have gone mad. They're trying to kill me. Robert made sure of that. Ser Boros moves forward, grabs Cersei's arm. She tries to scratch his face. He restrains her. Get your hands off me. I am the queen. I am a Lannister. My father will... Your father is in Casterly Rock. You are in King's Landing, and King Robert's word is law. Barristan's voice is sad. I'm sorry, Your Grace. Truly. But you should not have done this. You should not have betrayed your king. They drag her from the chambers, through the halls, down the stairs, to the Black Cells, where the rats wait. Red Keep White Sword Tower, same time. Jaime Lannister sits in the Kingsguard common room, polishing his sword. He's thinking about Cersei, about the children, about the fragile lie they've maintained for 14 years. The door opens. Sir Arthur Dayne. No, that's wrong. Arthur is dead. It's Ser Barristan leading men in. Wait, why is Barristan here? Why does he look like that? Jaime Lannister, Barristan says. You are under arrest by order of the king. Jaime stands slowly, his hand moving toward his sword. On what charge? Adultery with the queen, incest, fathering false heirs, treason. Jaime's blood goes cold. Robert knows. Yes. How? Jaime looks at the other Kingsguard. Boros, Meryn, Preston Greenfield, all with swords drawn. He thinks about fighting, about cutting his way out, about reaching Cersei and the children and fleeing. But there are too many, and even if he won here, where would he go? The city is sealed, the Red Keep is locked down. It's over. I want to see my sister. No, I want to see my children. They are not your children. They are bastards, and you will never see them again. Jaime's hand tightens on his sword hilt. If you've hurt them, we have not. But if you resist, If you force us to kill you, their lives become more precarious. King Robert is angry, very angry. He wants justice. But he also wants stability. Cooperate, and perhaps your children live. Fight, and you guarantee their deaths. Jaime stares at Barristan, at the man he once respected, once considered a brother. This is what honor looks like, is it? Arresting your own brothers? Following a king's mad commands? This is what justice looks like. You broke your vows, Sir Jaime. All of them. You killed the king you swore to protect. You bedded the queen you swore to leave untouched. You fathered children who would have stolen the throne. This is not mad. This is righteous. Jaime wants to argue, wants to fight, wants to do something other than surrender. But Cersei's face appears in his mind, the children's faces, Joffrey, Myrcella, Tommen. If he fights, they die. He removes his hand from his sword, unbuckles his belt, lets it fall. Take me. They do. Through the tower, through the yard, through the gates, to the black cells where his sister already waits. This is the night of the lions, and the lions are caged. 5 days later, 6 riders, royal colors, moving fast. At their head, Sir Alan Connington of the Stormlands, a knight loyal to Robert since the rebellion. Trusted. Capable. They've been riding for 5 days, changing horses at every town, sleeping in the saddle, following orders. Find Jon Snow, bring him to King's Landing. By any means necessary, Aegon carries 2 documents in his saddlebag. One is a letter from the king. The other is a royal warrant, sealed with Robert's stag. He doesn't know what's in the letter, but he knows what the warrant says. Jon Snow is to be brought south alive and unharmed. Anyone who interferes will be charged with treason. It's the kind of order that makes a man nervous. The King's Road, near the Crossroads Inn, same day afternoon. Jon Snow rides south with his uncle Benjen Stark and a small escort. They left Winterfell a week ago, heading for Castle Black, for the Night's Watch. For the rest of Jon's life, Jon is 14 years old, dark hair, gray eyes, lean and serious. He wears simple traveling clothes and carries a bastard sword across his back, a gift from his father. No, not his father. Lord Eddard Stark, the man who raised him, the man who loved him despite what he was. A bastard. Jon Snow, no true name, no true place. That's why he's going to the Wall. Because bastards can't inherit, can't marry highborn ladies, can't be anything except what they are. At the Watch, at least, he can be something. A brother, a ranger, maybe even a commander someday if he's good enough. Benjen rides beside him. You're quiet today. Your brothers? Arya? Jon nods. Arya had cried when he left. She tried to hide it, but he saw, and it had broken something in him. They'll be fine, Benjen says. Your father will take care of them, and you'll see them again. Brothers of the Night's Watch can have visitors. When? In 5 years? 10? By then they'll have forgotten me. I'll just be the bastard who left. They'll never forget you, Jon. Your pack. Starks don't forget pack. Jon wants to believe that, but he knows how the world works. Bastards get forgotten. Bastards get replaced. He's about to say something when Benjen raises a hand. Riders from the south. Jon looks. 6 men in royal colors, moving fast, heading straight for them. Benjen's hand moves to his sword. Stay behind me. The riders close. The lead man, a knight, Jon can tell from his bearing, raises his hand in greeting. Benjen Stark? Jon Snow? Who's asking? Benjen's voice is hard. Sir Alan Connington, sworn to King Robert. I carry a message from His Grace for Jon Snow. Jon's blood runs cold? A message from the king? Why would Robert Baratheon send riders north for a bastard? What message? Benjen demands. Private. For Jon Snow's ears. Alan dismounts, walks forward slowly, non-threatening. I mean no harm, I just need to deliver the king's letter and speak with the boy. Alan reaches into his saddlebag, pulls out a sealed letter. The wax shows Robert's stag. Jon takes it. His hand shakes slightly as he breaks the seal. He reads, and his world shatters. Jon's POV, the letter. Jon Snow, you don't know me. Not truly. I'm the fat drunk king who came north and got your father killed, or nearly did, more times than I can count. I'm the man who loved your father's sister and lost her and spent 17 years pretending I could forget. I can't forget. I'll never forget Lyanna, and that's why I'm writing to you. I've learned that the children I thought were mine, Joffrey, Myrcella, Tommen, are not mine at all. They're bastards, products of incest between my wife and her brother. I've been lied to for 17 years. The realm has been lied to, and I'll be damned if I let those lies stand. I'm going to disinherit them, publicly. I'm going to arrest Cersei and Jaime Lannister for treason, and I'm going to name a new heir, you. I'm legitimizing you as Jon Baratheon. I'm granting you Storm's End and naming you Prince of Dragonstone. When I die, and I will die, probably sooner than later given how I live, you'll be king of the Seven Kingdoms. I know this isn't what you want. I know you were heading for the wall to take the Black. But I'm asking you, no, I'm commanding you, to set that aside. The realm needs you, I need you, and your father needs you. Lyanna's blood will sit the Iron Throne. That's my last great act as king. Making sure that some part of her lives on, that some part of what I loved isn't lost to time and lies. Come to King's Landing. Sir Aegon will escort you. Your father is waiting, and so am I. Robert Baratheon, King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the First Men. Jon reads it twice, 3 times. The words don't change. Legitimized, Prince of Dragonstone, heir to the Iron Throne. Him, Jon Snow. The bastard, the boy with no name and no place. He looks up at Benjen. Uncle, I think you should read this. Benjen takes the letter, reads. His face goes pale. Gods, what do I do? You do what your king commands. You go to King's Landing. Benjen hands the letter back. This is, Jon, this is bigger than the Watch. Bigger than any of us. If Robert's serious, if he's really legitimizing you and naming you heir, the entire realm is about to change. But I swore. I was going to take the Black. I was going to... You didn't take the vows yet. You're not bound. And even if you were, the king can release you from them. Benjen grips Jon's shoulder. This is your duty now, not the wall, the Iron Throne. I don't want the Iron Throne. I don't want to be king. I just wanted to be a ranger, to fight, to serve. You'll still fight. You'll still serve, just in a different way. Saralyn speaks up. Lord Benjen, we need to move. King's orders are to bring Jon Snow south with all speed. The political situation is volatile. The longer we delay, the more dangerous it becomes. Benjen nods. Jon, you're going south. I'm coming with you. We'll send word to your father that we're coming. And then he exhales slowly. Then we'll see what Robert Baratheon has planned for you, toward the life he thought he'd have. Then south, toward King's Landing, toward a crown he never wanted. Let's go, he says quietly. They turn their horses and ride toward destiny. Winterfell, Great Hall, same time night. Robb Stark reads the Raven Scroll for the 4th time. He still can't believe it. Around him, the Northern Lords are in chaos. The Greatjon, Roose Bolton, the Manderlys, all summoned by Catelyn when the Raven arrived from King's Landing. Catelyn stands beside Robb. Her face is pale, tight. She's been silent since she read Ned's letter. The Greatjon speaks first, his voice booming. The king wants to make Jon Snow his heir? The bastard, that's madness. Robert has brothers, Stannis, Renly. Why would he pass them over for a boy with no claim? Because Jon is Ned's son, Robb says. His voice is careful. And Ned is the hand. Robert trusts him. And Jon is one of us. Northern blood. Northern bastard blood, Lady Dustin says coldly. I love the boy as much as any of you, but let's be honest about what this is. Robert is spitting on centuries of law and tradition to put a legitimized bastard on the throne ahead of his own brothers. The realm will never accept it. The realm accepted Robert when he took the throne by conquest, Robb counters. The realm accepts what the king tells it to accept. If Robert says Jon is his heir, then Jon is his heir. Roose Bolton speaks, his voice quiet, dangerous. And what about Stannis Baratheon? He's the lawful heir under the Great Council precedent. Will he simply accept being passed over? I think not. Robert is, and Robert makes the law. For now, Rose's pale eyes are unreadable. But Robert is mortal, and when he dies, if Jon takes the throne over Stannis, we'll have war. Perhaps worse than Robert's rebellion. The Greatjon slams his fist on the table. Then we'll fight. The North stands with Jon Snow, or Jon Baratheon, or whatever he's called now. He's Ned's son. He's ours. If Stannis wants to make trouble, we'll break him like we broke the Targaryens. Careful, Umber, Maester Lewin says from the corner. Stannis Baratheon is not the Mad King. He's rigid, yes. Unyielding, but he's also intelligent, strategic. And he has Dragonstone and the loyalty of many lords who value law over expedience. Catelyn finally speaks. What does my husband say? Catelyn, Robert has legitimized Jon and named him Prince of Dragonstone. This was not my plan or my desire, but it is the king's command, and I must support it. Jon is coming to King's Landing. When he arrives, he will be thrust into a world he is not prepared for. He will face dangers from the Lannisters, from Stannis, from court factions. He needs protection. He needs guidance. I am asking you, begging you, to put aside your feelings about his birth and help me keep him alive. He is still the boy you watched grow up at Winterfell. He is still part of our family, even if he now carries a different name. The realm is about to tear itself apart. The Lannisters will fight. Stannis will fight. And Jon will be in the center of it all. I need the North behind him. I need Robb behind him. And I need you to tell the Northern Lords that House Stark stands with Jon Baratheon no matter what comes. Your husband, Eddard. Catelyn folds the letter. Her hands are shaking. She thinks of Jon, the boy she couldn't love, the boy who reminded her every day of Ned's supposed betrayal, the boy she wanted gone from Winterfell. And now that boy is going to be king. She looks at Robb. Your father asks for our support, for the North's support. What do you say? I don't care what name he carries. If the king names him heir, then the North will follow him. I will follow him. And we remember Jon Snow rode with us, trained with us, bled with us. He's ours. Let Stannis try to take what's ours. Roose Bolton says nothing, but his eyes are calculating. Catelyn knows what she has to do, even if it tears her heart, even if it means elevating the bastard she resented. Then send ravens, she says, to every northern house. Tell them that House Stark stands behind Jon Baratheon. Tell them that when he sits the Iron Throne, the North will kneel. And tell them that any house that opposes him opposes us. Robb nods. It will be done. Catelyn stands alone in the hall, thinking about the boy she never wanted, the boy who is about to become a king. King's Landing read, Keep, Small Council Chamber, 1 week later, day. Robert sits at the head of the table, Ned beside him. The rest of the small council fills the seats. Varys, Littlefinger, Grand Maester Pycelle, Renly Baratheon, Barristan Selmy. Robert speaks. Jon Snow is on his way. He should arrive within the week. When he does, we'll hold the ceremony immediately. Legitimization, anointing by the High Septon, public oaths from the great lords. All of it. Renly leans forward. Brother, I must protest again. This is madness. You're passing over Stannis and me for a bastard boy who has never ruled, never fought, never betrayed his family, Robert interrupts. Never lied, never schemed. Jon is honest, honorable, like his father. That's what the realm needs, not lawyers and schemers. The realm is already heading for war. The Lannisters will never accept Cersei and Jaime's arrests. Tywin is calling his banners as we speak. The question isn't whether there will be war. The question is whether we'll be united when it comes. Ned adds, Jon has the North's support. Robb has sent ravens to every northern house. They're pledging to follow Jon when he takes the throne. That's 20,000 swords, maybe more. And the Stormlands? Renly asks. Will they follow a Baratheon who isn't actually a Baratheon by blood? They'll follow me, and I'll tell them to follow Jon. Robert's voice is hard. I'm still king, Renly. My word is law. If I say Jon is my heir, then he's my heir. Any lord who disagrees can explain his position from the black cells. Varys speaks softly. Your Grace, what of Stannis? He has not responded to your ravens. He remains on Dragonstone. Silent, brooding. This is concerning. Stannis can brood all he wants. He's always been a brooding bastard. Robert pauses. Send another raven. Tell him I command him to come to King's Landing for Jon's legitimization ceremony. Tell him I expect his oath of fealty to Jon as my heir. And tell him that if he refuses, he'll be charged with treason. That will push him to open rebellion, Ned warns. Then let it. Better to force his hand now while we're strong than let him scheme and plot and wait for the perfect moment to strike. Your Grace, I must ask, what of the children, Joffrey, Myrcella, Tommen? What is to become of them? They'll be declared bastards. Stripped of Baratheon names and titles, they can keep the Lannister name if Tywin wants them. Otherwise, they'll be given to the faith, raised as, I don't know, whatever the faith does with bastards. And the Queen, Ser Jaime, they'll stand trial, publicly, for adultery, incest, and treason. The High Septon will oversee it. If they're found guilty, and they will be, they'll face the king's justice. Which is, Robert's face is stone, death. For both of them, I won't have them alive to plot or scheme or poison Jon's reign. Ned closes his eyes. He'd argued against this, pleaded for mercy, for exile, for sending them to the wall or the faith. But Robert wouldn't hear it. They killed Jon Arryn. They lied to me for 17 years. They would have put a bastard on the throne and laughed while the realm burned. They die. That's final. Littlefinger speaks. Your Grace, executing Queen Cersei and the Kingslayer will certainly provoke Tywin Lannister into open rebellion. Are we prepared for that? Are we prepared? Robert laughs. Lord Baelish, I broke the Targaryens. I killed Rhaegar at the Trident. I took the Iron Throne by conquest. Do you really think I'm afraid of an old man in Casterly Rock? Not afraid, Your Grace. But careful. Tywin is not a man to be underestimated. He has the wealth of the Westerlands, the loyalty of his bannermen, and the potential support of the Reach if he can convince the Tyrells that backing him serves their interests. Then we'll beat the Reach too. We have the North, the Stormlands, the Riverlands through the Tullys, the Vale through Jon Arryn. We're stronger than any coalition Tywin can build. In men, perhaps, but in gold? Gold can't fight battles. Men can, swords can. Robert stands. Enough. We've made our decision. Jon Snow becomes Jon Baratheon. He becomes Prince of Dragonstone. He becomes my heir. And anyone who opposes him, Lannister, Tyrell, or Baratheon, will learn what happens when you challenge your king. The council ends, the lords disperse, Ned remains. Alone with Robert. You're going to execute Cersei, Ned says quietly. I am. She's the mother of 3 children. Whatever she's done, they're innocents. They're bastards, born of incest. And I'm not executing them, just her. Robert pours wine. Don't give me that look, Ned. You know what she did. You know what they did. I know, but I also know that mercy is what separates us from tyrants. I was merciful with the Targaryens. I let Viserys and Daenerys flee to Essos. I didn't hunt them down. And what did it get me? 17 years of looking over my shoulder, wondering when they'd come back with dragons and fire. Robert drinks. I won't make that mistake again. Cersei and Jaime die. Their children live, but powerless. And Jon becomes king in a realm that's finally free of lies and bastards pretending to be princes. Ned doesn't argue. There's no point. He just hopes Jon is ready for what's coming. King's Landing Red keep 3 days later dawn. Jon Snow, no, Jon Baratheon now, he supposes, stands in his assigned chambers in the Red Keep. He arrived last night after 2 weeks of hard riding, exhausted, overwhelmed, terrified. A servant knocks. My lord, the king requests your presence in his solar. Robert himself stands by the window. He turns when Jon enters. So, you're Jon Snow. Yes, your grace, Jon bows. Or Jon Baratheon. I'm not sure what to call myself anymore. Neither am I. We'll figure it out. Robert studies him. You look like your father, Ned's coloring. Stark features. That's good. The North will love that. Jon doesn't know what to say. Robert continues. I suppose you're wondering why I did this. Why I dragged you away from the wall. Why I'm making you my heir when I have 2 living brothers who have better claims. Yes, your grace. And when she died, I lost the only good part of myself. Robert's voice is rough. I spent 17 years married to Cersei Lannister. I fathered bastards across the realm. I drank and whored and pretended I was still the man who won the throne at the Trident. But I wasn't. I was a hollow shell, a drunk king playing at rule. He walks closer, and then I found out the truth, that Cersei's children aren't mine, that I've been raising bastards and calling them princes, that my entire legacy is a lie, and I decided, if I can't have Lyanna's son, I'll have her blood on the throne. I'll make sure that some part of her lives on, that some part of what I loved endures. I'm not her son, your grace. I'm just her nephew. Bastard nephew. Not anymore. I'm legitimizing you. You'll be Jon Baratheon, Lord of Storm's End, Prince of Dragonstone, and when I die, you'll be king. Jon's throat is tight. I don't want to be king. Good. The men who want to be king are usually the worst at it. Robert almost smiles. Your father told me you were going to the wall, that you wanted to be a ranger, to serve. That's the right instinct. Being king is about service. It's about duty, about doing what's necessary, even when it's hard. I don't know if I can do this. You can, because you have to, because the realm needs you, and because I'm giving you something no one gave me, guidance. Your father will teach you politics and justice. I'll teach you war and command, and together we'll make you into a king the realm can believe in. Jon looks at Robert, at the fat, sad king who loved his aunt and lost her and never recovered. What if I fail? Then you fail. But you try. That's all any of us can do. Try, and hope it's enough. A knock at the door. Ned enters. Your Grace. Jon. He looks at his son, no, his nephew, though no one knows that yet. Are you ready? Ready for what? The ceremony. The High Septon is waiting. The lords are gathering. Today you become Jon Baratheon, Prince of Dragonstone, heir to the Iron Throne. Jon's stomach twists. Now, today, Robert doesn't believe in waiting. The longer we delay, the more time our enemies have to prepare. Ned grips Jon's shoulder. You can do this. I believe in you. Jon nods. He doesn't feel ready. He doesn't feel like he can do this. But he's a Stark. Starks do their duty, even when it terrifies them. Let's go, he says. They leave the Solar, walk through the Red Keep, toward the Sept of Baelor, toward the ceremony that will change Jon's life forever. The Great Sept of Baelor, 1 hour later. Day, the Sept is packed. Lords from every kingdom, knights, maesters, septons and septas, even small folk crowding at the back to witness history. Jon stands before the High Septon. He wears new clothes, black and gold, Baratheon colors mixed with Stark simplicity. No crown yet. That comes later. Robert stands beside him, Ned on the other side, Barristan Selmy and the remaining Kingsguard, minus Jaime, at attention. The High Septon raises his hands. The Sept falls silent. We are gathered in the sight of the Seven to witness a great act of royal justice and mercy. King Robert Baratheon, first of his name, has discovered that the children he believed were his own, Joffrey, Myrcella, and Tommen of House Baratheon, are not of his blood. They are the products of adultery and incest. They are bastards, and they cannot inherit. Gasps, murmurs. The lords who didn't already know look shocked. The High Septon continues. In their place, His Grace has chosen to legitimize Jon Snow, natural son of Lord Eddard Stark, Hand of the King. Jon Snow will henceforth be known as Jon Baratheon. He will be granted Storm's End and the title Prince of Dragonstone, and he will be named heir to the Iron Throne. More murmurs, some approving, some outraged. Jon Snow, step forward. Jon does. His legs feel weak. His heart is pounding. The High Septon anoints him with 7 oils, 1 for each of the 7. He prays over Jon in High Valyrian and the common tongue. Then Robert steps forward. He holds a scroll, the decree of legitimization. I, Robert of House Baratheon, first of his name, King of the Andals, the Rhoynar, and the first man, Lord of the 7 kingdoms and protector of the realm, do hereby legitimize Jon Snow, natural son of Eddard Stark. From this day forward, he shall be known as Jon of House Baratheon. I grant him Storm's End and all its lands and incomes. I name him Prince of Dragonstone. And I declare him my heir to inherit the Iron Throne upon my death. Robert hands the scroll to Jon. Then he clasps Jon's shoulder. Kneel. Jon kneels. Robert draws his sword, touches it to Jon's shoulders. Left, right, rise Jon Baratheon, Prince of Dragonstone. Heir to the Iron Throne, Jon stands, the Sept erupts. Some cheer, some are silent, some storm out. But it's done. Jon Snow is dead. Jon Baratheon is born, and the realm will never be the same. Stannis Baratheon stands over the great map of Westeros carved into the table. Candles burn in iron holders shaped like dragons. The room smells of salt and smoke. He's 40 years old, lean, hard, his jaw constantly clenched, his eyes burning with cold fury. Sir Davos Seaworth stands beside him. The Onion Knight, Stannis' most trusted advisor, a smuggler turned knight. Honest, loyal, pragmatic. The Raven from King's Landing, Davos says carefully. Did you read it? I read it. And Robert is a fool. He's thrown away centuries of law and precedent to name a bastard his heir. A bastard who has no claim, no blood right, nothing but Robert's sentimental attachment to a dead woman. The bastard has been legitimized, my lord. That's within the king's power. The king's power is not unlimited. It is bounded by law, by tradition, by the Great Council of 101 AC, which established that the Iron Throne follows male line primogeniture. No women, no inheritance through women, and certainly no legitimized bastards ahead of true-born brothers. Robert is still the king. His word is not law when it contradicts the law of the realm. I am his heir, by right, by birth, by every precedent that has governed succession for 300 years. Not Jon Snow, not Jon Baratheon, me. Davos is silent. He knows this mood, knows better than to argue. Stannis continues, his voice like grinding stone. Robert has sent me a command. He demands I come to King's Landing. Swear fealty to his pet bastard. Acknowledge Jon Baratheon as Prince of Dragonstone. My seat, Davos, the seat that belongs to the heir, and heir to the throne. What will you do? I will not go. I will not kneel. I will not betray the law for Robert's convenience. That's treason, my lord. No. Robert's act is treason. Treason against the realm, against the law. Against me, Stannis' fist slams on the painted table. He's doing this because of Lyanna Stark, because he can't let her go, because he wants to pretend that naming her nephew king somehow brings her back. It's madness, sentiment masquerading as statecraft. The North supports Jon. Lord Stark has declared for him. The Northern lords are swearing oaths. The North is blinded by loyalty to Ned Stark. They see one of their own being raised up, and they rejoice. They don't care about law, about precedent, about what's right. Stannis paces. But I care. I have always cared, and I will not stand aside while Robert destroys the realm's stability to satisfy his grief. I'll watch. Robert is old, drunk, unhealthy. He could die tomorrow or in 10 years. But when he dies, the realm will face a choice. A bastard with no legal claim but the North's support, or the rightful heir with law and tradition on his side. That's civil war. That's justice. And I will see justice done, even if it costs me everything. Davos looks at the painted table, at the carved kingdoms, at the throne room in the center. What about the boy? Jon? He didn't ask for this. He was on his way to the Night's Watch. Robert forced this on him. I don't care what the boy asked for. I don't care if he's honorable or kind or capable. He's a legitimized bastard trying to steal what's mine by right. That makes him my enemy. He's also Ned Stark's son, and you fought beside Ned Stark in Robert's rebellion. You held Storm's End for Robert while Ned and Robert won the war. Do you really want to go to war against Ned's boy? Stannis is silent for a long moment. I don't want to go to war against anyone. I want the law to be followed. I want my brother to do his duty instead of indulging his fantasies. But if Robert won't see reason, if he dies and this bastard tries to take the throne, then yes, I'll fight. Because that's my duty. Send a raven to King's Landing. Tell Robert I will not come. Tell him I will not swear to Jon Baratheon. Tell him I remain on Dragonstone, loyal to him as king, but opposed to his unlawful decree. And tell him that when he dies, I will press my claim as his rightful heir, by law, by right, by everything that makes succession legitimate. Let Robert decide what to do with it. Davos bows, leaves to write the raven. Stannis stands alone over the painted table, staring at King's Landing, at the throne he believes is his, and will not surrender. King's Landing Red Keep Training Yard, 1 week later, day. Jon trains with a practice sword. His opponent is Sir Barristan Selmy, Lord Commander of the King's Guard. They've been at it for an hour. Jon is good. Winterfell trained him well. But Barristan is a legend. Every strike Jon makes is countered. Every opening is exploited. Jon's arms burn. His lungs scream. But he doesn't stop. Finally, Barristan disarms him. The practice sword flies from Jon's hand. Enough, Barristan says. You fight well for your age. But you're too aggressive, too eager to close and finish. In a real battle, that gets you killed. Jon bends over, gasping, I'll work on it. You will, because you don't have a choice. You're the heir to the Iron Throne now. Every battle you fight, people will be watching, judging, looking for weakness. I know. Barristan hands Jon a water skin. Your father, Lord Stark, he fought in Robert's rebellion. Did he teach you about war? About leading men? to protect those who can't protect themselves. That's a good start. But honor doesn't win battles. Strategy does. Discipline does, knowing when to fight and when to retreat. Barristan pauses. The king tells me you're to command forces soon, against the Lannisters. What? I've never commanded anything except training exercises at Winterfell, because Tywin Lannister is calling his banners. The Westerlands are mobilizing, and we have reports that he's sending envoys to Highgarden, trying to convince the Tyrells to join him. Jon's blood runs cold. A war. A real war. Yes, and you're going to be part of it. Robert wants you visible, fighting, leading, so the realm sees that you're not just a name on a decree, that you're a warrior, a commander, a future king. I don't know if I can do that. You'll do it, because you must, because the realm is watching, and because if you fail, if you show weakness, the jackals will tear you apart. Barristan's voice softens. I served your father, Lord Stark, during Robert's rebellion. I know his quality. You have his blood, his training, his honor. Trust that, build on it, and you'll survive. Jon nods, picks up the practice sword. Again. Barristan smiles slightly. Again. They fight. King's Landing Red Keep, small council chamber, same day evening. Robert sits at the head of the table, exhausted, angry. He's been dealing with reports all day. Ned sits beside him. Jon across from them. The rest of the small council fills the chamber. Varys speaks first. Your Grace, my little birds report that Lord Tywin has mustered 15,000 men at Casterly Rock. He's also sent envoys to Highgarden. Lord Mace Tyrell is considering his options. What options? Robert growls. We have Cersei and Jaime in the black cells. We've exposed their children as bastards. The faith has condemned them. What can Tywin possibly offer the Tyrells that would make them join his rebellion? Gold, your grace, marriage alliances. The promise that if Tywin wins, House Tyrell will be elevated. Perhaps Marjorie Tyrell married to a Lannister heir. Perhaps Willis Tyrell made Warden of the South. The Tyrells are ambitious. They want power, and they're calculating whether you or Tywin can give them more. We need to secure the Reach, Ned says. If Tywin and the Tyrells combine forces, they'll outnumber us. The Westerlands and the Reach together could field 60,000 men, maybe more. We have the North, the Stormlands, the Riverlands. The Vale, if Jon Arryn can convince them, that's 50,000 at least. The North is weeks away. The Riverlands are divided. Some houses will follow House Tully, but others are cautious. And the Vale, Jon Arryn is old. Lysa Arryn is unstable. We can't count on them completely. Robert looks at Jon. What do you think? Jon is startled. Your Grace? You, the future king. What do you think we should do about the Tyrells? I think we should make them a better offer than Tywin can. Not just gold or marriages. Something they can't get from the Lannisters. Safety. The knowledge that backing us is backing the rightful king, not a rebel. And Jon hesitates, and we could offer them what Tywin can't. Northern trade, access to White Harbor. Alliance with the most loyal kingdom in the realm. The North doesn't break oaths. If we promise the Tyrells friendship and trade, they'll have that for generations. With Tywin, they'll only have gold until he decides they're no longer useful. The council is silent. Then Littlefinger smiles. Clever. The boy has a mind for politics. Jon has a mind for honor, Ned corrects. But sometimes honor and strategy align. Robert nods slowly. Send an envoy to Highgarden. Offer them alliance. Trade. A royal marriage if necessary. Jon can wed Marjorie Tyrell when she's of age. Make it clear that backing us means security and legitimacy. Backing Tywin means rebellion and risk. And if they refuse, Varys asks, then we fight them alongside the Lannisters, and we win, because we have right on our side, and because I didn't win the throne at the Trident just to lose it to Tywin fucking Lannister. Highgarden, the Reach 2 weeks later, day. Mace Tyrell, Lord of Highgarden, Warden of the South, sits in his great hall. He's a large man, jovial, not particularly bright, easily influenced by his mother. Olenna Tyrell, the Queen of Thorns, sits beside him, tiny, ancient, sharp as a blade. Before them stand 2 envoys, one from King's Landing, Lord Mathis Rowan, sworn to the crown. One from Casterly Rock, Sir Kevan Lannister, Tywin's brother. Mace looks between them. So, both of you want the Reach's support. Both of you make grand promises. How do I choose? Ser Kevin speaks first. Lord Mace, the choice should be clear. King Robert has gone mad. He's arrested his queen without trial, disinherited his lawful children, named a bastard as his heir. This is tyranny. House Lannister stands for law, for order, for proper succession. If you join us, we will reward House Tyrell handsomely. Gold, marriages, power. And if we refuse, Olenna asks sweetly, then you side with the king who has already shown he'll destroy anyone who displeases him. Today it's the Lannisters, tomorrow it could be the Tyrells. Lord Rowan speaks. Lord Mace, Lady Olenna, Ser Kevin is twisting the truth. King Robert acted justly. Queen Cersei committed adultery and incest. Her children are bastards. This is not tyranny, this is justice. And the king has named a new heir, Jon Baratheon, who represents both North and South. The king offers you alliance, trade with White Harbor, marriage between Jon and Marjorie when she comes of age. Legitimacy and security for generations, Mace looks torn. Olenna studies both men. Tell me, Lord Rowan, Olenna says, this Jon Baratheon, he was Jon Snow, a bastard, now legitimized. How do we know he'll honor marriage promises? How do we know Robert's decree will stand after Robert dies? Because Lord Eddard Stark guarantees it, and the North has pledged to support Jon. The North keeps its oaths, Lady Olenna, always. What does he say about Jon's legitimization? Rowan hesitates. Lord Stannis has not endorsed it, but he has not openly rebelled either. He remains on Dragonstone. So we have a legitimized bastard as heir, supported by the North but opposed by the lawful heir under centuries of precedent. And you want us to bet the Reach's future on this arrangement. I want you to bet on the rightful king, Robert Baratheon, who won the throne by conquest and holds it by law. Supporting him is supporting legitimacy. Join us, Lord Mace. Join House Lannister, and together we'll restore order. Mace looks at his mother. What do you think? I think we're being asked to choose between a drunk king with a bastard heir and a rich lord with a treasonous daughter. Neither option is appealing. But she looks at Rowan. The North keeps its oaths. The Starks keep their oaths. If Ned Stark promises trade and alliance, he'll deliver. Tywin Lannister promises gold and power. But he's also the man who exterminated the Reynes and Tarbecks when they displeased him. I'd rather ally with honor than with ruthlessness. So we back Robert? Mace asks. We back stability. We stay neutral. For now, we tell both sides we're considering their offers. We wait to see how the war unfolds, and we make our choice when we know who's winning. Very well, gentlemen. The Reach will remain neutral until further notice. We will not raise our banners for either side. Go back to your masters and tell them that House Tyrell values peace and will not be rushed into war. Both envoys bow, leave. Olenna watches them go. Then she turns to Mace. Send a private raven to Casterly Rock. Tell Tywin that we're inclined to support him, but we need to see his strength first. Ask him to demonstrate his power, to show us he can win. Why tell Tywin that if we're staying neutral? Because, my dear son, the best way to stay safe in a war is to make both sides think you might join them. Robert will court us. Tywin will court us, and we'll reap the benefits of both until we're absolutely certain who will win. You're a wicked woman, Mother, and I intend to see House Tyrell survive this madness, no matter who sits the Iron Throne when it's over. King's Landing Red Keep Great Hall. 1 month later day, the trial of Cersei Lannister and Jaime Lannister. The High Septon on a raised dais. Robert on the Iron Throne. Ned standing his hand. Jon off to the side with Barristan. Cersei and Jaime are brought in. Chained, thin, exhausted from weeks in the black cells. Cersei's golden hair is dirty. Her green eyes burn with hatred. Jaime looks broken, hollow. The High Septon speaks. Cersei of House Lannister, you are charged with adultery with your brother, Sir Jaime Lannister. You are charged with bearing 3 children, not of the king's blood, and presenting them as legitimate heirs. You are charged with conspiracy to murder King Robert through sabotage of the royal hunt. How do you answer? Cersei lifts her chin. I answer that I am a lioness, and lions do not concern themselves with the opinions of sheep. For my house, for my family, I have no regrets. Robert leans forward. No regrets. You lied to me for 17 years. You made me raise bastards as princes, and you tried to have me killed. You were a terrible husband, a terrible king, a drunken fool who loved a dead woman more than his living wife. I gave you 3 beautiful children and you couldn't even pretend to love them. So yes, I found comfort elsewhere. And yes, I wanted you dead. Because you deserved it. The hall gasps. Robert's face is red. You confess, you admit everything. I admit I loved Jaime. I admit my children are his. I admit I wanted you gone. What else do you want? My tears? My apology? You'll never have them. I am Cersei Lannister. I am not ashamed. Robert looks at the High Septon. You heard her confession. What is the judgment? Adultery by a queen, producing false heirs, is treason. The faith finds her guilty. The sentence is death. Cersei doesn't flinch. Then kill me. But know this, Robert. My father will destroy you. He will burn this city. He will put your bastard heir on a spike, and House Lannister will endure long after your dust. The High Septon turns to Jaime. Sir Jaime Lannister, you are charged with the same crimes, adultery with the queen, fathering false heirs, and additionally, you are charged with breaking your Kingsguard vows, which forbid you from touching any woman, let alone the king's wife. How do you answer, I loved her? That's my only answer. I loved Cersei. I have always loved Cersei, and if loving her is treason, then I'm guilty. Execute me. I don't care. Do you have anything to say in your defense? Any plea for mercy? Mercy? Jaime laughs bitterly. From Robert, the man who stood by while the Mountain murdered Rhaegar's children, the man who smiled when Elia Martell's head was brought to him wrapped in a Lannister cloak. He doesn't know the meaning of mercy. You did what was selfish. There's a difference. Is there? We both did terrible things, Robert. The difference is I admit it. Enough. Sir Jaime Lannister, the faith finds you guilty of adultery, breaking your vows, and treason. The sentence is death. Both of you will be executed tomorrow at dawn. May the Seven have mercy on your souls. Cersei and Jaime are dragged away. Cersei is screaming. Jaime is silent. Jon watches, his stomach churning. He's seen death before. Executions at Winterfell, men dying in training accidents. But this is different. This is justice. This is what ruling means. And it makes him sick. Ned sees his face, moves close. Are you all right? No, I'm not. They're going to die, and I'm part of this. Part of the reason they're dying. They're dying because they committed treason, not because of you. But if Robert hadn't legitimized me, if he hadn't named me heir, maybe he would have been more merciful. Maybe he would have... You didn't cause this, Jon. You're just trying to survive the consequences. Jon nods, but he doesn't feel better. He feels like he's drowning, and the water keeps rising. King's Landing, the great sept of Baelor the next morning, dawn. The square before the sept is packed. Thousands of small folk, lords, soldiers. A headsman's block stands at the center. 2 blocks. Side by side, Cersei and Jaime are brought out. No hoods. Robert wants them to face death with open eyes. Cersei is defiant to the end. I am Cersei Lannister. Her head rolls. The crowd gasps. Some cheer, some are silent. Jaime kneels. He looks at his sister's body. His eyes are wet. I'm sorry, Cersei. I'm sorry I couldn't save you. Both heads are placed on spikes, displayed. Robert watches from a balcony. His face is stone. Jon stands beside him, feeling numb, feeling wrong. Is this what ruling is? Jon asks quietly. Watching people die? Ordering executions? Sometimes, yes. Robert's voice is heavy. I didn't want this. I wanted Cersei to confess, to beg for mercy, to show some humanity. But she didn't. She chose defiance. She chose death. And now her father will come for us. Yes, Tywin will come, and we'll be ready. Robert looks at Jon. You're going to fight in this war. You're going to lead men, kill men, watch friends die. It's going to be brutal and terrible, and nothing like the songs make it sound. Are you ready? No. Good, honest answer. Robert grips Jon's shoulder, but you'll do it anyway, because you're a Stark, and Starks do their duty. Jon looks at the heads on spikes, at Cersei's golden hair matted with blood, at Jaime's dead eyes staring at nothing. What if I fail? But you'll have tried, and that's all anyone can ask. The Blackwater, 2 months later, night, the Lannister Tyrell fleet sails up the Blackwater. 60 ships, thousands of men, gold lion banners, and green rose banners flying side by side. Tywin Lannister stands on the lead ship. Beside him, Sir Kayvan and Lord Mace Tyrell. Olenna made her choice. Tywin offered better terms, more gold, more power, And most importantly, he convinced her that Robert was weak, unstable, a dying drunk clinging to a bastard heir. Better to back the lion than the stag. Now the combined Lannister-Tyrell force is attacking King's Landing. To avenge Cersei, to remove Robert, to put Joffrey, or perhaps Tommen, on the throne with Lannister and Tyrell support. Tywin expected resistance. Wildfire. The chain, Tyrion Lannister pulling clever tricks. But Tyrion is a casterly rock, and Robert isn't Tyrion. What Robert is prepared. King's Landing, the Blackwater shore, same night. Jon stands on the walls overlooking the Blackwater. He wears armor now, Baratheon black and gold, a sword at his hip, a command in his hands. Robert gave him the Mudgate, 500 men, the most vulnerable point in the city's defenses. Hold the gate, Robert said, no matter what. If they break through, the city falls. Don't let that happen. Now Jon watches the ships approach, his heart pounding, his mouth dry. Beside him, Ser Barristan. Remember your training, stay calm, issue clear orders, the men will follow if you lead. What if I make a mistake? Then you'll learn from it, if you survive. Barristan almost smiles. First battles are terrifying. I vomited before mine, but you push through, you do your duty, and you hope it's enough. The ships reach the shore. Men pour out. Lannister soldiers, Tyrell knights, thousands of them. They charge the walls. Archers, Jon shouts, loose. Arrows fly. Men fall. But more keep coming. Ladders hit the walls. Soldiers climb. Jon's men push them back. Swords clash. Men scream. Jon draws his blade. A Lannister soldier reaches the top. Swings at Jon. Jon blocks. Counters. Drives his blade through the man's throat. The soldier falls. Blood sprays. Jon stares. He's killed before. Bandits, training accidents. But never in war, never like this. My lord, the gate. Jon looks. Battering ram. Hitting the mud gate. Over and over. Boom, boom, boom. The wood is cracking. Reinforce the gate. Move. His men scramble. Piling stones. Furniture. Anything to brace it. But the ram keeps hitting, and the gate is breaking. Jon looks at Barristan. What do I do? You fight. You hold. You don't let them through, and if I can't, then you die trying. But I don't think you will. I think you'll find a way. Starks always do. Jon looks at the gate, at the ram, at the enemy pouring toward them, and he makes a decision. Open the gate. What? You heard me. Open the gate. My lord, if we open it, they'll flood through. Open it, now. They do. The gate swings wide. The Lannister soldiers cheer. Charge through. Into a killing field. Jon had prepared this. Stores of wildfire hidden in barrels. Archers on rooftops. A bottleneck that funnels the enemy into a narrow space. Now, Jon screams. The archers loose fire arrows. The wildfire ignites. Green flames erupt. Men scream. Burn. Die. The Lannister charge collapses into chaos. The survivors try to retreat, but Jon's men are already closing the gate, trapping them. It's a slaughter. When it's done, 200 Lannister soldiers lie dead in the gateway. The rest are retreating toward the ships. Jon stands among the corpses, shaking, covered in blood and soot. Barristan approaches. That was brilliant. Risky, insane, but brilliant. I didn't know if it would work. It did. You held the gate. You saved the city. The king will hear of this. The realm will hear of this. You've proven yourself, Jon Baratheon. Jon looks at the bodies, at the faces frozen in agony. I killed them, all of them. You defended your city, your king, your people. That's what commanders do. It doesn't feel like victory. It feels like war. It feels like war, and war is always ugly, but necessary. Jon nods. He doesn't feel like a hero. He feels like a butcher, but he held the gate, and the city stands. The Blackwater, same night, hours later, Tywin watches his fleet burn, watches his soldiers retreat, watches his assault collapse. Mace Tyrell is panicking. We need to withdraw, regroup. We can't. Be silent. Tywin's voice is cold. We're not withdrawing. We're repositioning. The river assault failed. We'll march overland, besiege the city, starve them out. He's outnumbered. The north is still marching south. The Vale is neutral. The riverlands are divided. We have time. But the boy Jon Baratheon, he held the Mudgate. He's competent. He's a boy, 15 years old, playing at war. I've been winning wars since before he was born. Tywin turns. Send ravens to Casterly Rock. Bring up reinforcements. We're settling in for a siege, and when the city falls, I will personally drag Robert from his throne and make him watch as I execute his precious bastard heir. King's Landing, Red Keep, Great Hall, the next day. Robert sits the Iron Throne, the court is assembled. Jon stands before him. Jon Baratheon, Robert's voice carries through the hall. Last night, you held the Mudgate against overwhelming odds. You employed clever tactics, you saved the city, you proved yourself a commander. The realm is in your debt. The lords cheer, some genuinely, some out of obligation. Robert continues, I name you defender of King's Landing, and I reaffirm that you are my heir. When I die, you will sit this throne, and you will rule the 7 kingdoms with honor and strength. Thank you, your grace. But inside, he's screaming. He doesn't want this, doesn't want the throne, doesn't want to be king. He wants to be at the wall, fighting the real enemy, the cold, the darkness. But he can't say that, can't refuse. So he bows and accepts. And the Iron Throne waits. Epilogue 15 years later, King's Landing, Robert is dead. Died in his sleep, finally drank himself to death. Jon Baratheon sits the Iron Throne. 30 years old, scarred, weary, but respected. He won the war against Tywin. It took 3 years. Thousands died. But the North and Stormlands held. The Lannisters were broken. Casterly Rock fell. Tywin was executed. The Reach sued for peace. Stannis never reconciled, never bent the knee. He died on Dragonstone, bitter and alone, still claiming he was the rightful king. Jon married Marjorie Tyrell as promised. They have 2 children, a son named Eddard, a daughter named Lyanna. The realm is at peace, mostly, but Jon looks north every day, because ravens come from the wall, desperate ravens, about the dead, about the others, and Jon knows, deep in his soul, that the real war hasn't begun yet. The throne was just the beginning. Now comes the long night, and Jon Baratheon, the Silver Wolf, the reluctant king, the boy who never wanted a crown, prepares to face it, because that's what Starks do. They endure, they fight, they protect, even when it costs everything. The end.